Greetings, everyone. Let's let some people filter in. I think Sam's going to come up and help read with me. Uh, let's see here. I hope everyone has had a good Sunday. We're going to be reading through parts 5, 6, and 7. There is a lot of good things in here. Oh, man. Oh, boy. It's your boy's going to be down bad after this one, ladies and gentlemen. I promise you that. Not that he wasn't already. But yeah. Uh, let's see. Sam, are you in here? None, of course, absolutely. He was supposed to hop right in here. I don't know where he's at. I mean, we literally just were talking. Oh, Sam, where are you? Please help me out now. Juniper, I don't know how to mod someone from StreamYard. I apologize. It's not my cheap internet, JFK. I assure you. Sam, where the hell are you? I'm gonna have to go with somebody else if you don't come on in. Please help. uh, all right, let's see. Sam, hello,
Okay,
sir.
hold on here. I'm hold on here. Hold on. Uh I'm having some problems too here. Hold on.
No problem. No problem. Hey, no problem, man. We'll just make 83 people wait on us. No, I'm just kidding.
This
I'm just kidding, buddy. I'm just kidding, man.
for some reason I can't.
What's up?
Okay. Hold on 1 second.
When he gets back, I'm totally going to ask him about all the orgies that went on in Florida. I'm
Can you hear
really
me?
going.
Can you hear
I
me?
can hear you.
Okay.
Yes. Now, tell me about the orgies in Florida.
Oh. Oh well. I mean, should I? You've always wanted to know, haven't you, Wardbot? I knew you'd be
This,
curious about it. Well,
oh,
uh,
absolutely.
you know, I mean, I really just I think that I hate to say it, but it seems like old Vic is like jealous if there did happen to be orgies in Florida, a bunch of gay sex everywhere. in the house, off the catches, on the catches, in the cars, everywhere. It seems like old Vic is actually a little bit jealous about that he wasn't a participant in
Yes.
those gay orgies.
Yes.
And the penis, as he calls it, the penis plans. I didn't have catching plans. I had penis plans.
Yes. I love the
So-
way he said the penis.
it was not been his. It's very clear it's not his first time using the term penis. He seemed very comfortable.
That's very,
saying
very clear.
but yeah, I mean,
okay.
you know, you can create any narrative you want, and one thing that is kind of entertaining is he does it, and so does JD. They both do it in a way that is so convincing that they
Yes.
know all that there's some sort of insider, and you know, they have all this sort of information fed to them, and that, you know, is kind of funny how they can just literally out of nothing create whole cloth stories and as if they were there. And you know
That's
what?
true.
I actually tune into Vic and JD to hear exactly what happened. Even though I was there and they weren't, I actually listened to them to know about all the shit that went down in Florida because they know more than anyone. So
Yes,
anyway,
absolutely.
and seem to be jealous about it. But anyway, so yeah.
All right.
What do you have? Yeah. What do you have store for us tonight, Warbach? Congratulations, by the way. Is this literally your first go around at a live stream on StreamYard?
Well, yeah, actually, the first really big one. I had done one early morning one time, but yeah, this is the first really big one. Welcome, community, everybody that's in here. We got about 93 in here now, so we're going to go ahead and get started. What we're going to do, we're going to read a part, which is going to be number 5, and then we're going to try to maybe summarize it a little bit, and then go on from there. Like I was saying beforehand, there's some very interesting shit in here, ladies and gentlemen. Oh man, your boy's going to be down real bad after this one, I'm afraid. I hope, yeah. But without further ado, I think Sam,
I do need to disclose real quick, though, that here the Survivors Network nonprofit charity has had to hold an emergency meeting today, the board of directors, to discuss the potential for litigation. There has been some threats of lawsuits. Unfortunately, for the Survivors Network, I had used the network to receive the mailing of these public records.
Yes.
And it was told to me today by numerous people in the community, thank you for all the screenshots, the screen recordings, and everything, that the Survivors Network is now being fingered in a potential lawsuit. So earlier today at 5 p.m., there was an emergency meeting of the board, and we are awaiting a demand letter to know exactly how much JD is going to be claiming from this poor little nonprofit that we are, and seeing if we can come to a suitable resolution to the current.
I'm betting he wants a pack of nabs and an RC Cola at the least.
Well, I mean, if we could just ship him a bunch of what's that coffee that he drinks? The Black Rifle.
Black
coffee.
Rifle, yes.
Yeah. We're going to send him a new. I am going to make this offer right now. We will send him 2 cases of the Black Rifle mocha coffee, 2 cases, and the Survivors Network will, using nonprofit funds to settle this resolution, which is legal. We will send him a brand new table, an outdoor table that's perfectly clean, made in the USA, not made in China, made in the USA, and it will be delivered and installed right on his back patio. So that is an offer that we are extending to JD and company. So anyway,
all right. Yeah, I would like to say one thing too. To JD, I would say this: you have a pretty piss poor understanding of the law, my friend. These are all public record, and also your understanding of the law, wherein you shoot somebody in the back, that's probably not a good idea as well. Might want to learn about that one too. So, But yes, let us go forth, Sam, with number 5.
Okay, so at the top of the page, we have basically let off with the detective in this name is Detective Chris Middleton.
Yes.
And we are at the top of page 46 of 100. Is that correct? Is that where you're at?
Ye- yes, I think. Well, I see. Yes. Okay, I do see that. Yes.
Okay,
Okay.
so
Cool.
I'm
I was
going to
on the
be
wrong page. Cool.
I'll play Detective Middleton and you can play
Yes.
is that what you want to do?
Yes. That is fine.
Okay, so here we go. As Detective Chris Middleton of the what would be the Jefferson County Sheriff's Department. All right.
Yep.
But she told me earlier that's your gun.
Well, it is, but I was going to go,
Well, but she may have put it.
to the range and with her.
Did your mom buy you that gun?
Excuse me?
Did your mom buy you that gun?
Uh,
Yeah.
it's
Do you have something in your history that prohibits you from having a gun?
no, sir.
Okay, no domestic violence orders.
Oh, they were old ones, but they were dropped a long, long time ago.
Any mental health issues?
Well, I had to go and see a doctor because of some stress related issues due to.
So basically, if you filled out a yellow form, you'd have to answer a couple things that might keep you from getting a gun.
Well, I don't really think that I would have a problem with it. I mean, I haven't looked at one in a long time, but
Mm-hmm.
well, I mean, it's not anything
That's your gun. You're the only one that shoots it. You're the only one that has ever had it. Your mom don't take it and shoot it.
well, no, sir.
That's your gun, ain't it?
Pretty much so, sir. Yeah, and like I said, the stuff that you said about it,
That's what I'm talking. That's what I'm talking.
I didn't know it had all that.
Okay. Oh, that's what I'm talking about. That right there. You want me to believe you 110%, and that right there was an attempt at deception. You was getting ready to put that gun on your mom. This happened to be in my mom's truck, and just
Well, I mean,
lo and behold, it was there. That gun wasn't in that truck all day today, yesterday.
no, I don't think it was in there all day.
You placed that gun in the truck.
Well,
That's a yes or no question, John.
yeah, I placed it in there, but
Needless.
it was earlier in the day, but
Before or after you and Larry got into it?
it was before, but
how did Larry end up at your dad's house last night?
well, because like I had said earlier in the tape,
You'd called.
his father
Yeah, but
and my father were good friends. He come by to see him, and I called him in the other room, and I told him that I respect and would appreciate it if you would
because you'd had enough of him.
stay away from here, because I mean I realized that
You'd had enough of him. I'm trying to do a Kentucky accent and I'm struggling a little bit. But I'm going to add my own flair to what I believe Detective Chris Middleton sounds like, even though he is now retired from the force. You'd had enough of him. And, your David Lindsay buddy, I mean, didn't he just catch a dope charge?
I don't know.
Yeah, he did.
I know, Dave's done some dumb things in his life as far as, drinking and stuff like that. He was on Louisville's Most Wanted one time because he didn't show up for court.
And see, that's one thing. You can't, you keep invoking, your ties with law enforcement and such, but you're hanging out around criminals, everybody around you. is criminal. Everybody you hang out with, everybody that's been in your car on a social basis are criminals. They're all in a dope game. They're all doing stuff they shouldn't be doing. And, you can't do that. You can't ride the fence. You made a decision tonight. Wait a second. Wait a second, John. I could just hear that JD must have been trying to interject here. And so, wait a second. You made a decision tonight that you'd had enough.
Well, like I said.
Yes or no? You'd had enough, hadn't you?
Yeah, because I thought he was the one that was.
But there was never any statements from him that indicate that he's going to put a hit on you. There were statements on him that if you rat me out, I'm going to beat you up. I'll kill you. I've heard my 4-year-old kid, I'll kill you. It's not something they hear. They hear TV.
Other people. Gangs and
stupid stuff like that. And you say it, and it's not, think about it. We've got many people living in the city of Louisville. Several 100,000, I can assure you last year, say 10% of them made the statement, I'd like to just kill him. Something they see on the news, something that happened to them personally, something they hear about, something they read about, and they make that statement. But out of that 10%, they don't go out and kill that person. They say it out of anger, say it out of rash judgment and everything. Tonight, you've had enough. Tired of the dope game, tired of them being around you, tired of them messing with your life. You had a guy that you identified. You put a face on the wrong tonight. You put a face with it, and the face was Larry Evans. And you was going to go fight Larry Evans. And lo and behold, you took a pistol and went too far. You can't expect to go to a fist fight and take a pistol. It's either a gun fight or a fist fight. It ain't both, John. Well, tonight it was. One person showed up with a fist. One person showed up with a gun.
Well, like I said,
and he lost his life.
I honestly thought he was reaching.
You've seen officers indicted for shooting a man, and that man had a gun. This man didn't have a gun, and you shot him as he was trying to get away from you because you pull up and you see him. He getting out of his car like he's going to get out of his car, John. What the hell? Dude, let's quit. Let's quit all this. We've known each other our whole lives. Our dads are friends. I don't want to go to prison. You called and told me I needed to apologize to you. I'm sorry. Keep me out of it. I don't want no part of it. Yeah, I've got a problem. I smoke weed and take pills, but leave me out of you and your ex-wife stuff. I don't want to go to jail. I'm done with it. Leave me alone. But instead, as he's getting out of the car,
like I said, at the same time, though,
you got a guy who's got a degenerative spinal condition. His spine's eating away at him. That's why I want to avoid some of this stuff here, but I guess, he's disabled. His spine's destroying him itself. Getting out of the car, John. You went to a fist fight with a gun. You made statements. You just worry me real bad with the fact that you was going to put that gun on your mom. Right now is the time to tell the whole truth and nothing but the truth. Because I know you believe in responsibility. You made the statement, responsible for your actions. You made a mistake. Take responsibility for it.
That's why I'm cooperating, making my statement,
But I want the truth, the full true statement, not 60% true. You knew when you took that gun out there with you, if he got out of the car, you was going to pull that gun and scare him, weren't you?
No, I was not going to pull that gun unless he come out with his, because as I said.
What if he got you? What if y'all got out and start fist fighting and he got you down, started beating you real bad? Would you got the gun then?
No.
Which you took that gun with you because you were gonna fist fight him. And if you needed that gun, you were gonna have it, right?
I took it in case the fact that he's been known, and I have Sam?
You took the gun with you because you were going to fight him. And if you needed a gun, you was going to have it there with you.
And he had his gun, and like I say,
Exactly. I carry one every day. I carry a gun every day. You know why I carry one every day?
it's your job.
In case I need it. In case I need it. Now, do I want to use it? No.
Well, nobody ever wants to use a gun, and I did not want to.
But you took it.
But
You took it in case you needed it. You made a conscious decision to take a gun with you
because
to a fight that you knew was going to be a fight. Wouldn't be nothing else but a fight in your mind.
But I also knew in the back of my mind what he had said, and that he.
But you went up there to fight him.
Well, actually, he told me to meet him there, so.
And you went. If I'm scared of somebody, if I think I'm going to go get, I'm an average Joe citizen, I'm going to go get in a shootout. I'm not going. I'm not going in. I'm not going to go get in a fight. I'm not going. I'm 37 years old. I got 3 kids and a wife. Them days are over. Now, when I was 13, 14, 15, I'm going to whip your ass. Let's do it. I'm 37. I'm going to whip your ass. I don't know. That didn't make a lot of sense there. But I don't know. He said he was 13. I'm going to whip your ass. And then 37, I'm going to whip your ass. Man, right. I want you to stop and think about what you're talking about. Look at the age on us and quit jacking around. Quit being a teenager. We don't do that anymore. Look, if you got a problem with me, cool. Stay away from me. Guess what? I'm going to stay away from you. I ain't real happy with you anyway. You've done it in the past. Everybody's done it in the past. A month down the line, the phone rings. Hey, man, this is Billy. That was stupid. Man, you're right. Come on. Well, let's get together sometime. All right, that's it. But tonight you got a guy that you're mad at. Then he comes in your dad's house doing some stuff he don't need to be doing. You've lost your wife. You lost your marriage to the lifestyle that they're living. And apparently you've made statements prior to him to let him know that he's in trouble with your wife, because he wouldn't just come over and out of the blue and say, man, you get me indicted, I'm going to put you in a body bag. That ain't going to happen. You can't just come over tonight and just out of the blue, hey, John, what's up, man? You get me indicted, I'm going to put you in a body bag. You've already told him, I got you. You're going to jail. I'm going to put you in jail. Police come and get you, and you use the fact that you ride around with some police officers where they think you got some bump. You want them to think that too. You drive a car that looks like a police car. You drive a car that's
a charity.
I know it's a charity, but you got a guy that that don't know that. I mean, not everybody. There's thousands of people every year that donate to the FOP, but they don't drive a car like that. Drive a car that looks like a police car. They don't drive a car that's marked up. That would appear to have some affiliation with the police department. They don't, my mom and dad, they got a little sticker in their car. There's hundreds and thousands of mothers and fathers across the nation they got a sticker in their window. Real small thing. But, you made the statement. You've had to have made the statements before yesterday. Larry, you're going to go to jail. I'm going to get out. It didn't just come out of the blue. He wouldn't know that you had that stuff if you hadn't said something to him previous.
I hadn't said anything to him.
You've never said anything.
I had not said anything to him. Is
not directly to him. You've said stuff about him to other people to let him know he was in trouble. You told that to other people.
She had told him that
you're gonna get.
I was gonna snitch on him.
Exactly.
And that's her way of getting stuff stirred up.
But you were gonna snitch on him.
Well, I mean, I didn't have to snitch on him.
Okay, moving to part the next layover here.
Alrighty.
So what are we looking at? Yeah, well, what are we looking at thus far from that section, from JD and from the detective?
Well, it really seems like the detective thinks he wanted to be a cop. especially with his car that looked like a cop car, which is
Well,
creepy.
and he had done these ride-alongs with officers,
Yes, yeah,
and you know, I'm look, I know that we all have this thing, and I want to be fair here, and it's going to get me in trouble for being fair, Warbot. You may think, but it does look like JD's not involved in drugs. It doesn't look like he's consuming drugs. It looks like there's
oh
some
no, I
there's
never thought JD
oh
was involved in
yeah,
drugs.
no, but I think yeah, just no, I'm not saying you're saying that. I'm just saying
Oh,
that,
okay,
you know, I'm just admitting the facts on the table here. So when we do our full analysis of this complicated,
sure,
complicated and or simple murder, because you know JD gave us this idea that it was sort of a complicated self-defense case in which it things, and it's looking more and more like I don't think anybody is saying that the lifestyle of this, what according to JD and this detective, this Larry Evans was sort of a not a great guy, maybe, not a good upstanding member of the community potentially. Now that doesn't deserve that he got drove up on and shot in the ass and then killed at all.
right.
But the
That's
fact
it's
is John seems to be interested and you know, interested, and to a level of, you know, not using the comparison, maybe something like a George Zimmerman, right? In which he's out patrolling, doing neighborhood watch, driving. And I'm not saying that was John, but he's done ride alongs. He's got a police car that looks like a police car. And it seems like the detective is going down this road of you're trying to clean up your own streets by doing sort of vigilante uh crime
well,
control, right?
right, but it also looks like that his wife might have been involved in doing some dirt too, though. That's the issue that I'm seeing here
Well,
too.
no, and I want to correct from yesterday because Ed said something about that it was the wife who might have been doing drug. And no, I read this as potentially Larry Evans was selling drugs to JD's wife at the time, and
Hmm.
that impacted their marriage, that impacted the family life, and
Are you okay? We'll have to make sure to go
yeah,
to
well, I
kind
want to
of
get
try to
back.
comb back over that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm interested, like, who was the drug consumer and who was the drug dealer? Because to me, I read it as Larry was the drug dealing, and that the wife at the time was, you know, drug consuming, and that it impacted greatly their family life. And
Right.
that, you know, again, I want to be fair with this analysis, and I know that people want to think, but you know, I can see someone becoming angry to have this in their life in which they've got this guy who's potentially, you know, we can go down that analysis later on, but I just wanted
Certainly.
to think. So, all right, I'm at the top of page 56.
Okay, 1 second. Okay. Yep,
But
I'm here.
you were gonna tell, given the opportunity, you were gonna tell. And I don't hold that against you. I wish more people would tell. I really do. Then we wouldn't have this, and we'd have less wit. It'd always be there, but we'd have less of it. But you made a decision to confront him tonight. You've had enough of it. Hey, you don't need to come around my dad's house anymore. Get out of the blue, according to you. I mean, you've never told anyone you was going to snitch, and y'all hadn't been fussing uh and fighting prior to this last night. Hey, it hit the bricks. And then you know that your ex-wife is telling him, John's going to tell on you. So you confront him head on. John, I think if 100% of the truth be known, and I'm not, once again, do not take this personal, this is just business, okay? No matter what Larry Evans was, he didn't deserve to die up there in a car lot like that. He didn't deserve that. If he was going to get in trouble by the law, then the law has the right to put him in prison. If he's selling 100 pounds of weed a day, that's not enough to kill him. No country, no longer the United States, is that a death penalty case.
I understand that. Sam?
And telling you that he's going to whip your ass
Well,
and kill you. Is it not?
That,
That's
ladies and
not.
gentlemen,
That's
that's
a.
my
Uh,
inaudible. So,
it's not inaudible to take his life. It's not. You'd had enough. You got mad. You went up there.
but I had no intention of.
You took a gun with you.
But I had no intention of.
But you had intentions that if you needed it, it was there.
If he drew on me,
Which he didn't.
like I said, I honestly was.
Stop and think about it. Now you're gunning a car, and in the course of gunning that car towards his car, you got the mindset to reach back, grab that pistol, come up, come to a stop. That don't hold water. That gun wasn't in the back seat. That gun was in your lap.
It was like I said right there,
It wasn't in the back seat.
and
it wasn't in the back seat, wasn't it? Was it? Tell me the truth. Don't start lying to me now. We're getting along great. Oh man, this cop, I got to tell you, this detective is almost the classic good cop, bad cop sort of. You know how they teach these interviews where you try
yeah,
to. I mean, this guy is almost, just a straight by the book. No real great personality, in my opinion. He does. I don't think he does a great job, but he certainly gets JD to say things in here that and this is
I
when we
agree.
get to the analysis of it. This cop didn't get a great job, but honestly, JD did a terrible job against what I would consider a mediocre detective. This detective was trying to play this good cop. Don't start lying to me now. We're getting along great. I'm sitting here as a homicide detective trying to
Yeah,
fuck you over for the rest of your motherfucking life, but we're getting along great, John. We're getting along great. And
yeah,
again, that line there is just so we're getting along great. I'm a homicide detective. You're telling me you committed self-defense and want to go and have, not be
right.
charged. I'm sitting here desperate to try to charge you with a homicide and destroy you. And I use the line, we're getting along great. All right.
Yeah,
It
it was like a
wasn't in the backseat.
fifth rate John Grisham movie or something.
Yeah, I mean, it's just on this detective. I have to agree with JT on something. His analysis of this detective. This detective, did not do a really good job here. And JD, and as a defense, as someone claiming self-defense, the boggles the mind that he sat down with this detective. It really does. And that's one of the things I wanted to get to at the end of it in the analysis of why he voluntarily, and that gets into maybe psychological and sociology on someone. There's a certain type of person that feels like they can talk their way out of a crime, being accused of
Right.
a crime. And I think that JD might fit the bill here, in which he thought wrongly and to his great detriment. I strongly believe that without him giving this interview, I don't believe that he would have been convicted by a jury. I don't. But anyway, let's get back to this. So it wasn't in the backseat, wasn't it? Was it? Tell me the truth. Don't start lying to me now. We're getting along great. If you start lying to me, though, it wasn't in the backseat, was it?
Chris, it was in the door down.
That you call me Chris. It's Detective Middleton, John. No, he didn't. He didn't. No, he didn't say. He didn't say that. Scratch that. Strike that from the record. It is odd, and another thing I agree with JT on is it's odd that he called a detective by his first name. Don't lie to me again, John. Don't. I got a lot of respect for you.
It was
To come in and man up, but you're gonna have to man up 100%. This, oh my god, this detective almost, and I'm gonna turn him into like this televangelist, creepy televangelist preacher like Benny Hinn. I've turned Detective Middleton into this We're gonna do one of these TV preachers here now. To come in and man up, but you're gonna have to man up 100%.
well, manning up. It was down in
You had it.
where the door thing is.
You made up your mind today after he left your dad's house. I'm doing this no more. I'm not living this way. I'm not having my life ruined this way. I'm not losing my marriage this way. I'm not losing my kids every night this way. I'm not losing my house. I've had enough of them. I've had enough of them. This shit ends tonight. This ends tonight. One way or another, this ends tonight. I'm done.
Like I said,
That's what went through your mind, ain't it, John?
no, sir, it wasn't, Chris.
You were ending this tonight.
I
This is going to be done one way or another tonight. One way or another. If you got killed, it was all over for you. Rest in peace. It's done, right? But if you killed him, I think I can do it. And I think I can live with myself. But you found out you couldn't live with yourself. That right there says a lot about you. You're not some stone cold killer. Please understand that. John?
Shit. Hold on. Okay, wait a minute. Which page are we on?
I don't know, but I'm really getting into the detective here. We're on
I
page.
can tell.
You got to step up, John. 59, top of 59.
Okay, yeah, right. Okay, and where were we at on the page? Because I hit the thing.
You're at I'm not, and like I said, when you tried.
I'm not, and like I said, when you tried.
And you made a mistake tonight. You made a tragic mistake tonight, John. John, like I said, this is not personal. This is just business. I hate the fact that I've got a dad with their kids sitting across from me, and you got to a point to where you had enough of it and you decided tonight to take it in your hands. I wish you hadn't have. And I'm glad you're set. You're talking to me so somebody else don't take it in their own hands for what happened. Whoa.
I wish
Oh my God. Was the cop detective threatening him that John was endangered for committing this murder?
That's what it sounds like.
I mean, the cop is literally threatening him here, the detective. I wish you hadn't have. And I'm glad you're set. You're talking to me so somebody else don't take it into their own hands for what happened.
I wish
there's a judicial system. We got to pay for our sins to society. We got to pay for them. Tonight, right time is your time to confess what you've done and to fix it. I'm not going to tell you you're not going to go to prison. I'm not going to tell you you're not going to go to jail tonight. You're going to jail tonight. I can't help that. I can't tell you you won't go to prison. I don't know what a jury will do. Who does? Who really does know what a jury will ever do? Yeah.
Well, like I told you before, I honestly thought he was the hitman.
Well,
and
if I'm a police officer, okay, let's take that. I'm an average citizen. I happen to know a lot of police officers, whatever it is. Somebody's going to kill me because my ex-wife's dealing. She's in the dope game. Okay, hold on.
So there we go. Yeah.
Okay, hold on. So now that might get into this. So I don't know, was whatever it is, somebody's going to kill me because my ex-wife's dealing. She's in the dope game. So I don't know. Okay. All right. That might be in. I don't know if he means like she's in the dope game as in she's a consumer, or my ex-wife's dealings as in.
No, I could be either one, but yeah, maybe
the dope game. So I'm not saying that that's a. Trying to figure out who was the dealer, who was the consumer. All right, so you're up next here.
She's going to collect my life insurance policy.
So what, dude? Just get on the phone, call some of them police officers I know. Hey, man, old lady's nutted up, dude. She's going to smoke and maybe get my life insurance. I think they're trying to kill me. Can you help me out? I've heard from more than one person that she's going to have me killed to collect my life insurance. Who do I need to talk to? You know somebody you can put me up with? Not guy I've known since grade school comes to my house. You hear that he's running with your wife. He's buying pills from your wife. Well, let me explain something to you. If he's a high roller, then your wife's a Mac Daddy because she's selling him dope. All right. So your wife's higher up on the food chain than he is because he's buying his dope from her. So that makes him a pillhead. So he comes to my dad's house for a social visit, going pretty smoothly. Larry, you need to leave. You might be the hitman. In the back of your mind, you might be the hitman. Larry, you need to go. The phone rings a couple hours later. Meet me at the village car wash. So the hitman's going to have you meet him at a car wash. This out of the blue, and you go. That don't hold water. If you got this much fear of being killed because somebody your wife's put on you, and you go to you're going to your murderer, you're going to, I tell you what, I'm going to put my gun at my door. I'm going to take the son of a bitch out before he gets me.
That wasn't my intention.
That's what you did.
That's
what you did.
Like I said, I mean,
John.
You said he had degenerative
spinal
thing. I really didn't know what was going on.
Nobody. And you don't know. Nobody knows.
And
here's this big old guy. He's on disability because of his back because his spine's degenerating and his stomach's no good. He's borderline crippled. Just had a consult last week for back surgery. John, you've attempted to deceive me twice. You're still attempting to deceive me. You went up there intentions last night. That was the end of it. You was going to finish this last night. One way or another, this is over. And I'm getting confused why he's saying the murder was today versus last night. This interview must have taken place overnight, I'm suspecting, maybe in the early morning.
Right.
You're going to show him, I'm not scared of you. Here I come. I'm coming. Fight me.
Oh, shit. I hit the button again. Sorry, people. Hold on. Which page are we on again, Sam?
62.
62. Okay. And where are we at on the page?
Go to the top. I had no intentions of is your line.
All right. I had no intentions of.
But you took a gun and you had it in the door handle, in the door panel. The door's readily accessible to you. You charge at a guy when you're driving straight out. You're reaching down, grabbing this gun. Or worse, it gets worse. It gets worse. You read articles. You've prepared yourself for situations like that. You thought it out. See, you had that gun position in a spot that you practiced.
That's not something you really practice, or
it is something you practice.
I mean,
it is something you.
I mean, I'm being.
Well, when go out here and ask most officers out here on the street when a bad thing happens, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? You got guys that carry guns on their ankles. You got guys that have an extra gun in their car that they can't get this out of because of the seatbelt, that they've got a gun on the front seat in a map pocket in case they're sitting there writing a ticket and a guy runs up on them. In no time, they just reach and grab. They prepare themselves. So one or two things. You prepared yourself for last night. You thought it out and you were prepared, which I don't think you were. I don't think. Or you're telling me that while you're gunning the car directly at another human being, another car, you got the mindset to reach, which does beg the question, if indeed, JD did sort of run his vehicle right at Larry had a self-defense argument in that case then, right? That it would have been if Larry did have a gun and was reaching for it, one would imagine the argument for self-defense would work in Larry's favor in that someone comes to ram me with their vehicle, I think that reaching for my gun and shooting back is not an illogical conclusion
Oh,
for self-defense.
absolutely. Absolutely.
So that's another part of this, that it could have been Larry himself who had the self-defense argument. So you're telling me that while you're gunning the car directly at another human being, another car, you got the mindset to reach down and grab the gun by muscle memory, come up, stop the car, and start shooting? That's what you're telling me. You got the muscle memory and the mindset to know the position of that gun, which you don't have it in the door panel all the time, according to you, right? It's not always there. It's in the car and in the open where an officer could see it, from concealed to carry. Wouldn't you argue that it would be considered that would be a considered location with the car? Officer walks up to your window. Sir, I need your license, registration, proof of insurance. You know, all this over here is visible because this is the passenger compartment. But unless I got x-ray vision or can look straight down in your car, see that's going to tell leaning in, which is unsafe practice. You know, a lot of issues there. That gun's concealed. If you got the door open, standing at the door, you still got access to that gun. That gun was placed there for a particular reason, to provide you access for it when you met up with Larry Evans, wasn't it?
It wasn't like I planned.
It was placed there. It was placed there for quick access in case you needed it when you met up with Larry Evans, wasn't it? That's a yes or no question.
Well, it's not exactly a yes or no.
So really, the detective then really is now trying to fuck JD over in this interview, which he's trying to get the element of what? Premeditation, right? They're trying to get JD on that his intent, or trying to get his state of mind. All right. In a premeditation murder case, murder in the first degree, you must prove an element of premeditation. This detective is literally filling in the blanks for JD to simply say yes to an element of premeditation here, which is you really shouldn't. You let the person talk. You don't do all the talking and then have him mumble, and then it can be easily stricken. You know, another problem here. But it's very clear that this detective wanted to, you know, premeditate murder this case. No, it is. That's a very clear question. It's a very clear.
It was there if I felt like my life was threatened.
That is the same exact. You're rewording the same statement. That gun was there in case you needed it when you met up with Larry Evans. Yes.
It's just that he had pulled the gun. Yes.
That gun was there in case you needed it. Let me just keep asking this same statement until you agree to it, John. That gun was there in case you needed it when you met up with Larry Evans.
It was there because...
Yes or no?
Yeah, it was. It was.
Okay. Say it to you 10 times.
Hold on a second. It was there. I had no intentions of firing on him, and then...
You had every intention of firing on him when you got there. You had every intention, and in your mind, you made up. If you tell yourself long enough, it becomes real, okay? But this ain't real, John. This ain't real. You pulled up there. You're mad. You've had enough. This is ending tonight. It's done. This is done. This life, it's kicking my ass. It's ruining my life. I'm done. I've had enough. Yeah, Larry, I'm going to come fight you. And you get there, and you're in over your head. You're in over your head. You can't help it. You're committed. What have I got myself into? He goes to get out of the car. You gun your car towards him.
Towards the door so that it'll go back.
Towards the door to push him back with his car.
I had no intentions of hitting his vehicle.
No, I'm not saying you did, but you did it in a manner where you can close on to get an advantage on him to keep it from coming out of the car. You have to climb all the way over, and you don't just say a word to him. He doesn't say a word to you. Nothing's said whatsoever. You produce a handgun and start shooting him. Now let's flip it. You're Larry Evans. I'm going to go meet John. He says wants to fight. I'm going to go fight him. Getting out of the car, all of a sudden, son of a buck charged towards me in his truck. Thought he was going to hit me. Jumped back in the car to protect myself, and Next things you know, I'm shot 8 times, one in the ass. You can't articulate it, John. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't match. You went up there. This is going to end tonight. It's done. It's over. I'm sitting here looking at you, and I know I'm right. I know I'm touching on the right issue because it's right on the tip of your tongue. This was a done deal tonight, wasn't it?
No, not really, sir. It wasn't. And I'm not an aggressor.
It is now.
If it's
It is now. It's a done deal.
it's
Because you shot that man 8 times out of fear and anger. Anger took you there.
and that's something I'm gonna have to live with for the rest of my life. Didn't do it.
Yes, you will. Yes, you will. Anger took you there. Anger took you there. But when you got mad, you took a gun with you. And there's no way that you can ever say, I went to a fist fight and just happened to take a gun with me. You know, you say Larry had carried guns in the past.
He's always been known to carry them. I mean, like I told you, I had seen him with them before.
You know, you carry a gun with you.
Not here until recently.
Well, that's where we're at. Then after you do this takes place, you go home, dismantle the gun, and attempt to hide it. People that get involved in self-defense situations, they don't go and hide their gun. They don't go attempt to dispose of their clothing. They don't take their clothes off, put them in a bag, and put them in a vehicle. That's happens to be.
I was scared.
Yeah, you were scared to get caught.
No, I was. The whole situation scared me.
I know it did, but you also didn't want to get caught. You don't want to go to jail. You've made several statements. You know, I don't want to be on TV. I don't want to lose my job. I don't want to lose my chance of Freemasonry. I don't want to lose my kids. What is that a reference to there? I don't want to lose my chance of Freemasonry.
I guess maybe he was trying to be a Freemason.
Wow, that's kind of a bombshell.
That is interesting. Wow, I did not know that either.
I missed that.
I don't think it was. Yeah, I don't think it was in here before. Actually, I don't know that it was.
I mean, is JD a Freemason now?
Not that I know of. Maybe.
Interesting. Okay, that's I'm gonna bottle that one up and talk to my part 2 of my Denise interview. We'll probably go over Freemason, so we'll save that one for the next episode of my interview with Denise Mathieu. I don't know how to pronounce her last name, but anyway. All right, I don't want to lose my kids. Nobody does because they don't want to get caught. If they don't get caught, then they don't lose those things.
Yeah, but what?
But you screwed up tonight when you called him and you told him you're going to kill him.
I didn't say I was going to kill him.
I've got about 5 people that says you did call and say I'm going to kill him. I'm going to shoot you.
I mean,
I've got about 5. Really, I don't have any, but I'm going to make it up and say I have 5. I've got about 5 people that's their statement. You know, you think about it. This has happened at what, 1:30, 2 o'clock in the morning, and I'm knocking. I'm at your dad's. All right, so that's the end of that section. Do you want to keep doing this format, or do you want to sort of breeze through?
Yeah, let's go. May as well just go ahead and steam through because, like I said, I need to go as quick as I can if possible. And I think Cam was going to go live after this and just kind of discuss a whole, like an overview of what's gone on up until this point. So I think so on that.
All right.
So you want to go ahead and hit 7. Let me get set here. I hope everybody's enjoying this. Some interesting revelations about our good friend JD. Indeed. Seems like he was quite the coward. Okay. All right. Are we good? Yeah. All right. Cool.
House a little bit after 6.
Oh, wait a minute. Okay, I got you. No, it was later than that.
Well, a little bit after 7 then.
It was actually probably, it was dark, so I'd say it was probably close to 11:30 maybe. Maybe 10:30.
But last night
I said,
when you shot him.
no, when he was at my dad's house.
Okay, but I'm saying you and have him in an altercation. You shoot him, and then I'm at your dad's door 4 or 5 hours later. Everybody in town, everybody of his friends, every one of his family members. John shot him. He went to meet John at Filled Car Wash. Him and John been fighting. One of his friends said John says he gonna get him indicted.
That's probably the same one that walked out to the trailways. He said,
No, it was a guy that when you called him at the house, you called him 3 times last night. Larry, you need to call me. Part of your story sort of makes sense. Part of it don't. I know for a fact you went up there to end it. One way or another, you took the gun with you. You took it with you to scare him. Get him to the drop on him. Next time I see you ever threaten me again, I'll blow your head off. And then
what it was, I mean, I
had it there. You had it there.
I had it.
In case you needed it. You had it there in case you started losing. You were going to end this tonight, no matter what. This is over with tonight. There's nothing you can say that will change my opinion on that. Okay, this is great. Great detective work. Let me conclude the conclusion. Again, I mean, this detective certainly got a result here, but
right.
You tell the interview the suspect that you're not going to be able to convince me otherwise. You've got to give the suspect some opportunity to be able to convince you. Other than you're just putting words in his mouth. Now there's nothing you can do that would change my opinion on that. You'd had enough of it. You're tired of it. This is done. He's coming in your dad's house and disrespecting you. He's not going to be involved with the downfall of your marriage. He's not going to be involved with your life going south. You've had enough. You identified Larry Evans as one of your problems, and you went to take care of that problem tonight.
Put it that way. I mean, it sounds worse than what it.
Then tell me the whole truth.
Well, I mean,
because that's what a jury will see, John.
I know, and Chris, I've told you.
You took
that
Did you or did you not make a conscious decision to take that gun with you? Yes or no?
It was there.
Did you make a conscious decision to take it with you?
Yeah, because it was in the truck, and
you made that decision. Excuse me, I need to drink some water here. I'm losing fluids to go through this reading, this rendition here. Sorry, give me a second here.
I am too. Yeah, all right, man. I got it, bro.
Give me a break on this one. All right.
Yes, sir.
All right, you made that decision to take it with you in case you needed it.
In case he was going to draw on me, because he had made the statement that.
But
that
then you got up there and you got scared and you drew first.
Well, like I was telling you, Chris, I honestly
you didn't
thought that he was reaching.
But we can't honestly think that that's what's going to happen. We can't honestly. You can't. I mean, I had a guy stick a gun to a door frame with me on the other side. He kept door standing like that. I didn't see the gun. I knew what was going on. I knew he had a gun pointed at me, but there was no way ever I could articulate that I saw a gun through a solid steel door. And lo and behold, once we got him arrested and everything, he had a gun pointed at me through the door. I could not articulate any legal fashion to have shot him without lying, without telling half the truth.
Well, I'm telling you, it was not my intention to shoot him.
But what it scared me, though, is you left out, you've attempted to see me. All right. Had to do a tape change here, folks, due to the previous tape 1 running out of the space. I'm still here conducting an interview with Mr. John Davis, and I'm Detective Chris Middleton, homicide interview 1, room 1. All right. Now, when the tape last stopped, well, before we start once again, for the record on this tape here, you're giving this statement, you're giving this statement of your own free will, right?
I signed the Miranda rights,
Uh-huh.
read them. You're not coercing me at all, or
That's right. That's right. No promises and no threats, right?
made me threats. Prom, you know, this is.
And this is done of your own free will, correct? Oh my
Yes,
God,
sir.
I'm sorry, but I consider this detective to be kind of a sleazeball. I'm sorry. Yes, sir. All right. All right. All right. John, it's very, very important that that we have everything out in the open, everything on the record. Everything truthfully on the record. The reason being, one of the persons that you provided as a witness to tonight's events is currently here, and they're being questioned, okay, as to their knowledge of the events as you provided them. Right now is the time for you to make sure that you're being 100% truthful and honest with me, because I've already told you that I believe you committed murder, and I'm a homicide detective trying to premeditate the murder. But now I need you to be 100% truthful to me and honest with me, because you're taking a huge chance that that person's going to tell the same exact story that you told. That's not a thing I'd put my faith in. Along with you're talking about by your own statements, you hang out with a lot of that, would be criminals that are criminals. They live a criminal lifestyle, whether it be drugs, theft, whatever. I wouldn't put my trust in those people. You can trust me though, John. I didn't say that. That's added in, ad-libbed. If you ever hang out with people that never been in trouble before, and this is the problem, from Cam gave us the verbatim reading. Now I have to read it almost verbatim without adding little tidbits here and there, tidbits that I can ad lib. But anyway, this is Warbot. We're doing more of a rendition that sort of gives the gist of it. Okay. If you ever hang out with people that never been in trouble before, didn't search it out, yeah, I'd take my chances, but you're not doing that. Oh, you're so right. Now's the time to be completely truthful with me. When we finished talking a while ago, when the tape stopped a minute ago, we were talking about the gun. You made the decision to take that gun with you. And the reason why I know you made that decision is the fact of what type of ammo you have in it.
Hydroshocks.
Okay, who usually uses hydroshocks?
Law enforcement people that are.
Why do they use hydroshocks?
A self-defense tactic.
Why do they use hydroshocks? What's a hydroshock known for?
Well, it mushrooms out.
And correct me if I'm wrong, Warbot. I'm interested in firearms, but is hydroshock the same name for a hollow point?
It is like that is like a hollow point, yes, because they both will do like mushroom out and expand and kind of bounce around in there and do a ton of fucking damage. So
right, but I mean, why is it another term for hollow point, or is it a different type of ammunition?
I think it's a different type as far as I know. I mean, let's just put it this way. I mean, this motherfucker was clearly not going to wound this guy, in my opinion.
Well, I mean, with hollow point, not a wound is not the goal, right? It's to the bullet basically shrapnels inside the body and expands into multiple small pieces in which it shatters essentially and could take out every organ in the different part of the body, right?
Correct. I mean, and he could have took just regular rounds. And here again, I mean, we'll never know what was in his head, but in my opinion, that just even shows, and I think the guy's alluding to that as well, basically saying, hey,
I know, but I don't want to, I gotta give something. If I own a firearm and, for the firearms that I, may own, I would keep honestly, Warbot, I would only keep hollow point weapons in them, right? Because the whole point of, I mean, if I'm going to the gun range, I will have the full metal jacket fire of ammunition. But
Sure.
if I have a gun in my own home that's going to be used for self-defense, why wouldn't I not have a hollow point? Because the whole goal is to
Right. But it sounded
myself.
like, yeah, it sounded like what this guy is alluding to is that these are basically the Hydroshock thing are basically like law enforcement type things. And he's asking him basically, why would you have these? Is what I'm reading.
I know,
this
but I mean,
as.
it's not as though you can't. I mean, a citizen can buy
No,
those.
of course. I mean, yeah, you can, but
Well,
I don't think your average. I don't think your average Joe Schmo down the block's going to have Hydroshock loads.
Okay.
No.
Well, I mean, that's you know, one of the problems in this case is, although I don't like what JD at all has done, or his character, or the things that he's said or done about the people in this community, this is a self-defense case. And no, I mean, well, hold on. Let me say that. There's a self-defense argument made by the defendant, JD, right? And I think that as we go through this, it's more and more clear, or the detective makes it clear, that John went up there to kill him. And John's to murder someone. And John's statement is that there was a murky situation when he went up there, but he did have a gun. I don't think that you should be convicted of murder just because you own a gun, have it with you, and have hollow points in it, and have to use it.
And I don't think anybody. I don't think anybody would. I think if we continue on, you'll see what kind. I don't know how much you read, but
yeah, no. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. Up to this point, the viewers have only heard this point of it.
Sure.
No, no. Point where there's the detective is very earnest in saying that I don't like the fact that he's implying that because I own hollow points, because I own a weapon, and because I have it in close proximity to me, that using it when needed, if necessary, would be considered murder. Now, that being said, again, John leaves his home and races to this meetup spot and engages with a guy that didn't clearly have a weapon back, right? And blocked him in, and then made an argument. Because again, the other thing people could say is, just like a false allegation of a false allegation of a crime is, to me, just as worse as the crime being accused of,
right?
Someone could make. Someone claiming self-defense when they weren't involved, they were clearly, it was not self-defense. It dilutes the self-defense argument. You know, we want to keep those self-defense cases very clear. And when everyone wants to go and commit murder and claim self-defense, it dilutes its meaning, and that makes it less likely that if one of us were to actually engage in a legitimate self-defense scenario, society will have been numbed down to think, oh yeah, no, you're just another person that wanted to go commit murder and claim self-defense. You know, it murkies it, and I don't like that. You know,
right? I get you.
All right, Detective Middleton back. It's a very, very lethal round, wouldn't you say?
Well, still that pop, that spike in the center.
But it's a lethal round. That's what it's known for, is to cause death, right?
Well, any ammo is going to cause death, but the Hydroshock
it's considered more efficient. It's more capable of causing greater injury, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so you didn't have that to hunt rabbits with you. You didn't have it locked in the house, you know. That, once again, that goes back. We got one or two things. You've read enough and heard enough about it to be, for lack of a better term, you know just enough to be dangerous. You knew what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying? And I don't see that just about this situation, but you know just enough about electricity to be dangerous. You just know enough about riding a motorcycle to be dangerous. You will feel comfortable with what you've got and what you're using, right?
Like I said earlier, sir, I guess I'm Chris.
You're fine. You're fine.
You know, I did not realize all the features of that handgun.
Did you pick it out?
Yeah,
How long have you had that?
a couple weeks.
A couple of weeks.
Cause, I stopped driving my Camaro because it was, everybody knew that Camaro. And whoever it was that they had gotten somebody, they would know that
How long ago did you junk your truck?
junk my truck.
Yeah, your Ford.
Oh, that Ford. That's been gone since about 4 or 5 years ago.
What cars do you currently own?
Huh?
What cars do you currently own?
Uh, I currently own that Supporting Heroes Camaro, and that Toyota Corolla. And I own a 79 Chevrolet Malibu that's historically tagged. It's in the middle of, restoration. That you have to fix this and fix that in order for it to be a show car.
Uh-huh.
And, my son's got a car in my name,
What's he got?
it's a Thunderbird, it's in my name, but it's not my car really. And it's got a rod knocking in it that he run it low on oil.
Well, tonight you and Larry Evans got into an argument. During the course of that argument, there were some statements made by both parties. You just indicated that you would have had him indicted, put him in a suit. And according to you, you mean a jailhouse suit. Larry, in turns, he's going to whoop your ass. He's going to kill you.
Put me in a body bag.
Yeah, okay, put you in a body bag. So instead of letting it go, phone calls were made, exchanges, decisions to meet for the purpose of a fight. You and another guy go to meet Larry, he by himself, correct?
Yes, Larry was in the car by himself.
All right, why'd you take the other guy with you?
As a witness in case anything went wrong.
Something definitely went wrong, John.
But
if you start losing, the other guy's going to jump up and help you with him.
No, sir.
He knew there was a gun in the car, didn't he?
No.
Be very careful.
He didn't.
Be very careful.
I understand what you're saying and where you're going with it, but no,
He knew there was a gun in the car. You told him.
Yeah, well, he knew it was in there.
You told him it was in there.
But under no circumstances was he to.
If he starts whipping my ass or if he gets me down, don't let me kill. Don't let him kill me.
No, that would never come into play because.
But you told him there was a gun in the car. David, I got a gun over here in the door panel, didn't you?
He knew it was in there.
You told him, David, there's a gun in this door panel over here, didn't he?
Probably. Yeah, he knew.
You told him that. You told him that there's a gun over here in this door handle, didn't you?
Not directly like you're implying. And
tell me in your words, how'd you said it? How you said it?
Well, it basically was, he knew that I had it with me, and I said, I have a gun.
Did you walk out of the house with it?
Huh?
Did you walk out of the house with it? Did he see you walk out of the house with that gun?
Oh, it was in the truck when I walked out of the house.
Well, it was over in the door panel, right?
Yes, sir.
So he gets on the passenger side.
But the gun was on the driver's side.
So he would. So how would he see it if he was on the passenger side and you got in on the driver's side and it was down in the door panel?
It sticks out. I mean, you can see.
You told him there was a gun in the car.
Well, he knew, yes, but
you told him. Tell me, were there any other words?
Some, yes.
Tell me the words you used to let him know that there was a gun in the car.
Well, I mean, I told him and I said, I said, it's here. I said, I don't want to, use it.
You don't want,
I don't want to use it.
but if I have to, I will.
But I didn't say if I have to, I will. But
But in your mind, you're thinking, but if I have to, I will. All right, and that concludes. We'll leave it on that cliffhanger tonight, or for whoever's going to do the next portions of it.
yes,
But
indeed. Yes, indeed.
I'll let you take back your panel, and are you going to stay on much longer? But yeah, I think that
No, yeah,
I
just a
don't
few
want to.
minutes.
I don't want
Uh-huh.
to. I think we all. It was a murky, complicated story before we see this, and apart from the self-defense argument, which I am naturally inclined to, anyone. I, as a person that believes in the right of self-defense and the right to bear arms, I
Certainly.
would be inclined to sympathetically view anyone who's making that claim. But I think what the detective's goal here was to try to put in his state of mind prior to arriving at the Village Valley car wash that it was clear that, or the detective tried to make it clear that JD went there for the purposes of murdering someone. Now, I do struggle with that because I just think that as he arrived, the premeditation. I don't know. You tell me, Warbot. I don't see necessary. Okay, he had a gun in the car and he had it with him. He had hollow points in it. He went and purchased a gun weeks
Well, I
prior,
don't.
or his mom
Yeah,
did.
I don't struggle with it at all because knowing JD like I know him, and which is pretty damn well by this point because it's been a while since he started into this community with his lies and his bullshit and all the things he's done to people. He's done some very cowardly things, so it's not hard for me to believe that he went down there with the cowardly intent of, hey Larry, we're going to go down here and we'll fight it out. Yeah, and he wasn't intending on doing that at all, in my opinion.
Okay, well, I mean, I look. I think that up until now, we have a picture of someone with there was a fight that they were gonna have, and he brings a gun to this fight, and he brings someone else with him to this fight, and
Yes.
he blocks the guy in or blocks him from escaping, I guess, and potentially shoots him in the back and the butt, and while allegedly blocking him in. And again, there are some surveillance tapes here, and there's some audio recordings as well. But this went from a very complicated picture of, because we only have one side, right? We only have
Yes.
JD. We've only ever had JD's story, and then we come and we see a fuller picture of, well, JD's story. I mean, the detective really did a good job in this regard. He filled in a lot of blanks that he got JT to agree to. Didn't you notice that?
I agree.
That he
Yes.
was laying this, whether it was, detective wasn't fucking there. He can't speak to the exact metrics of it, but I think the
Right.
detective did see the surveillance cameras that were around, and it's
Well,
clear that
and
John
Larry
comes.
showed up by himself. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And I think he genuinely maybe thought he was going to go to a fight.
Yeah. Well, and again, anytime when you do use self-defense, probably not a good idea to empty your clip. And I'm assuming that he had 8 bullets was the maximum. I don't know, 8 or 10 or 12.
Right.
But I don't know. I've heard different things, that there were 8 bullets out and then there were 11 bullets. I don't know which one was it in the end. But
Yeah.
no, but clearly if you're going to use the self-defense argument, here's a couple things. I wouldn't empty your clip. I wouldn't shoot a man in the back. I wouldn't
Right.
lock him in. I wouldn't charge someone with a vehicle. And then I would shoot a couple times, once, or to disarm someone, or to just, disarm the situation. And if more was required, but only do the minimum to reduce the
Agreed.
threat, right? So
Yes.
you're
Yes.
trained when you're trained with firearm and you take these classes on what is legal and what is lawful, you should only use that minimum amount to disarm and disengage and to escape from the threat, right?
Yes.
Emptying 8 bullets in someone, and then most importantly, your afterwards. I do think that he really jammed himself up by leaving the scene and going home. I guess they said that he, in this thing, he hid the gun or tried to hide the gun, and he took off all of his clothes. No, I mean, if you are engaged in a self-defense situation, Warbot, right? I think it's all agreed that you should technically, I mean, legally, lawfully, you should call 911,
Yes.
remove the threat. The person now is down. Call 911, remove the threat, take away the knife, take away the gun, and call 911 and render proper aid. And that's what, and I think that John made some really bad decisions, as we've seen him in this community make a lot of bad decisions and say a lot of wrong and inaccurate and, attacking people, making things up, that he was trying to create a narrative here that he was trying to sort of gaslight what happened, right? That, he went up there, charged the guy, shot him 8 times, left, went home, tried to hide the gun, collect his clothes, and then he's brought in for questioning hours later, and then he wants to claim self-defense.
Right. I think he did everything what you don't do, what you're not supposed to do. Yeah.
Well, I mean, no, and honestly, Warbot, I will say, does that actually give the more credibility to the argument that he just was shook up from it and he was reacting in a very unplanned, disorganized way that one would think that if you did plan for it, you would do things not at all in the way that John did it, nor would you ever talk to a detective at length about what happened, right? I mean,
well, I don't think anybody's ever going to accuse. I don't think anybody's ever going to accuse him of being all that intelligent, man. So I don't think we can really know what went on in his head. I do think, like I said, he brought somebody with him, and like the guy said, the cop said, how do we know he didn't tell the guy? Okay, well, maybe, even if it was going to be a fight or something, and he was like, well, if I'm getting my ass kicked, well, come on out with a gun or something, because the guy knew about the gun. Why would he need to know about the gun if it was going to be a fight?
Yeah. Exactly. I think, yeah, I mean, it's just all around, poor decisions. And, we are moving this. I mean, if anything, this does tell us that we're moving away from this being a self-defense argument to a cold-blooded killing, right? And,
yes, I agree.
I mean, I don't think you can get around that. And as much as if I was ever to be on a jury, that I would side with the, a self-defense citizen in a self-defense case.
Right.
This picture being painted here is more of a, I know I'm armed. I don't know if the other guy's armed. I'm going to tell my companion that I'm armed, and things quote unquote go south. And
right.
I see an opportunity as I pull up on this guy speeding at him, and then I see an opportunity to shoot and kill him and claim later after the fact, once he's dead, I can create whatever narrative I want to, and the guy sitting next to me is going to vouch for me because he's my friend. Now, I don't know what the nature of the guy was that was next to him. I don't know if that was a friend or that was just somebody had found, on the criminal elements that he was hanging out with. Because I thought it was interesting too that for John, that doesn't strike me. He didn't do drugs. But he was hanging out with a lot of criminals, it seems, but also was wanting to be, I mean, that's what the detective said, right? He painted this picture of John sort of straddling the fence, as he called it. I think he even said that he was sort of on the
Did
fence
say that,
about
yeah.
did he want to be a cop or did he want to be a upstanding citizen and a cop, or did he want to, jump right into the criminal world? And it's clear
Right.
here that the cop wanted to paint this man
Yeah,
a dichotomy.
let's not lose sight of the fact that also that he came in this community on the back of this, bragging that he had killed a chomo, so to speak, and he clearly did not.
That's sort of the glaring principle here. And I think you were the first to call this bullshit out long ago, or one of the few.
If not, I was one of the first. I pointed out to him swiftly that the guy's obituary had no mentions of that. Any pedo or chomo, as we all know, when they die, they are usually shut down quickly because they can't stop people from fucking with it. So there was nothing but glowing remembrances of Larry, and they talked about how good he was with children. So you weren't going to see that if it was a chomo, man. You know what I'm saying?
Right. And so you were first on and this gets back to the dishonesty and the lying, which you've called him out repeatedly for many, many, many months, and
a long time.
And you've been on the start of calling out the bullshit here, and people just wanted to go with the narrative because it sounded good that he
right.
killed a child predator. And I would note we're almost we're almost done here with this statement, this testimony, or this questioning, but we have to say both sides here too, that neither John nor Larry have been accused of anything inappropriate or child abuse or child molestation. So up until this point, we've seen no evidence or indication that either detective or John have said anything about or question about being a child.
No, right. I am curious. I am curious to see the witness statements when we get everything else in.
Yeah, for sure. I think
yes, absolutely.
We have to say that, but conceivably, if there was something to this, argument on the other side, which was that, on the other end of it, that Larry Evans was somehow confronting.
Oh, sure. No, it definitely. I don't think that's true either. No, I don't think that's true either.
It doesn't appear that was accurate at this time, that there was nothing that. So I think it is good for us to try to be, fair here in indicating that if people are not, it's not fair. I would say that, JD to be, to both murder someone and then accuse them of being a child predator is pretty low. For you to shame someone's memory like that. Okay, you murdered him, take your, sentence and try to live a better life, but don't turn around and try to smear that person and claim that they were a child predator and then not produce any, and then claim that that's why you did the deed. And I'm not saying that, either. And then at the same point, that just because we don't like JD, I don't think it's fair to smear him with that either on the other side of it. Just
well, I mean, that the person that mentioned that was apparently in Larry Evans' family. Now, without having someone have spoken to him, we don't know what exactly he meant by that. Or anything.
And when this gets back to the evidence, what evidence do we have? Right where we have no evidence on either side.
Right. Just a guy's word. Like John Davis expects us to go on his word all the time.
No, and I don't think we can necessarily say that, Larry Evans, if John had evidence that he could produce, he didn't yet. But did. He hasn't yet said a thing about it to the detective. If John had some evidence that
he would have said it,
he should have produced it by now. I think if he's
100%.
And
he's
if the family is going to say something about John, I think that they should produce it. But as of now, we have unsubstantiated accusation on both sides. So I don't think there's much credibility as of now for either.
Right. Just there's as much credibility that as much as John says on a daily basis to believe him. In other words, is what I'm getting at. He lies constantly, so he shouldn't be surprised that people would lie on him.
Sure.
I mean, that's, when you lie constantly, people are probably going to lie on you. That's just that's just human nature. That's just a fact of life.
Sure.
And he's led a interesting life, to say the least there, Sam.
Yeah.
So
well, and you would think that he would have his treatment in this community in which he's, really done people dirty and lied about people and constantly attacking people and smearing people and generating this sort of fear and angst in people, in which people are naturally a little bit scared and cowardly, and I'm not, but and you're not, Warbot. I know that you aren't, and in fact,
no,
we've had these discussions in the past, me and you, about how so many people have come to you saying, well, you need to do this and you need to do that. And they're too scared or too cowardly to do it themselves out of fear and whatever.
Well, they don't want to be ostracized in the community. I think that's a big thing. They really don't want to be ostracized. And
but not only that, they don't want to be the target either, right? They don't.
Well, that too. Of course.
You've been willing to become the target. And Telly, as me and him have had our spits and spats.
Oh, Telly, yeah,
Telly stood up and put a target on his back, essentially, to basically bring some sanity to some insanity. And then there's people that didn't do that. And in fact, there's people that have been encouraging this behavior of smearing people and destroying people. And,
absolutely.
We could name a bunch of names here tonight of people that have been complicit in the activities of the council. And that is, that's what's so shocking to me. It's not really so much that John's story is not accurate and it's just sort of, bullshit of the lines that he produced. But what's so telling to me is the people that were not only scared to say anything, but they were they were modded in his channel. They were chatting with him. They were encouraging it. They've encouraged Vic, and they've enjoyed seeing it because they're not the target, and they actually are totally irresponsible, and they're weak people. They're weak.
I 100% agree.
And for the likes of you, for the likes of Telly, and JT, and the other people that have been, Edward certainly has been attacked and smeared, and he has fought back. But
let's not forget Cam.
Cam has been the number one target for this.
I mean, he felt nothing about re-traumatizing Cam, and that in itself is a very cowardly move.
Right. And I think that, I think we all would have loved to, if we're all in the business of getting the other side, JD, you've killed your victim. So we couldn't go get his perspective on what happened. And you felt like, contacting and infiltrating Cam's personal life. And I think that was very, 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 to me, that was sort of the defining moment in which I wanted to step forward here and feel necessary to say something, because as a victim, to have that thrown back in your face, to have, if we want to get the alleged predator story, that should be done in a courtroom. That shouldn't be done in a community of survivors. And I'm not. So but I mean, it's clear here that JD is all hat and not much cattle when it comes to
100%. Great saying.
When it comes to his antics. And, you know, I think that as we go and finish this series up, and we're going to end it with a panel, with a panel of us discussing it. I'm gonna try to say what my thoughts are in a fair way, despite all the things that have happened, like we did tonight, Warbot. I know that you're much more, and because you have been at the centerpiece of the hate and the attacks, so I can understand why you don't have a very good picture to give John the benefit of the doubt here at all.
Nope. Nope. Do not.
And but just credit to credit to the people that have said something and stood up and known that it's not right to put all your cards in a basket with someone who, as it's becoming more clear, murdered a man in cold blood. And
yes, agreed.
And did it. There was no John is certainly able to give his fuller side of it, but we've already shown him to be a liar, so it's hard to trust him to say what had actually happened that night. But it's very hard to get over the fact that someone was murdered here. And while it still may be up for dispute at this point in the case, did he go there with the intent to murder, or did he decide to murder when he got there and things were things went sideways? He went there with a gun, not to fight, and he did it in a way that would any man, if you're speeding your truck at me and blocking me in, I'm either going to try to run or I'm going to try to find a gun and to shoot you back. So,
look, hold on one second, Sam. Okay, now, ladies, let's not let's not argue here. I'm just seeing some shenanigans going on in the chat, Sam.
What are they saying?
They're just fighting a little bit there in the old chat. I'm joking. They can clearly do whatever they want. Free speech for the most part, unless it's just super ugly. My mods hopefully did that tonight, but they're just. I was being silly. They were just arguing. But
thank you.
Anyway,
thanks for having me up on the channel, and I'm gonna drop off here, and you can
thank you for helping.
You can give your closing thoughts, I guess, as I drop away, and look forward for more as we wrap up this series. Thanks, Warbot.
Thank you, Sam. Thanks for helping, bud.
Yeah, bye-bye.
All right, appreciate it. Okay, everybody, thanks for coming by. I hope you enjoyed our murder story tonight. Like Sam said, we will be wrapping up and we will be having a panel. We are also going to get the rest of the stuff, which includes witness statements and things of that nature. And we will present that as well. And I would like to say thanks to the mods and thanks to all new subscribers. And I think Cam was going to go live on his channel, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know for 100% certainty on that, so don't quote me on it. But I have to go, and I hope to see you on the next one. And we'll be doing some giveaways on the next one, hopefully. And that's always fun. Who don't like free shit, right? or money? Hell, who don't like money, right? We can all use some money. All right. Well, have a good night, ladies and gentlemen, and Excelsior.